Yo, what's going on? I'm Marcus, the Debt Free Dad, and in this video, wait, first of all, I guess I'm gonna thank y'all for tuning in and joining this live stream. I definitely appreciate everybody who supports the channel. Greatly, greatly appreciate y'all. If you're new to the channel, I'm Marcus, the Debt Free Dad, where we talk finances and attorney reactions. Sometimes we try to keep it on the finance side of the game, but sometimes things are so wild. I'm like, you know what? There's no real financial nexus, but it is some crazy shit that we just crazy stuff that we just have to talk about. It's too early to be cursing, isn't that? I got a 10 p.m. rule and we haven't hit that yet. So always got to give my disclaimer. I'm a licensed attorney, but it's not legal or financial or any kind of advice. Is infotainment. Get a professional in your area if you got professional questions, needs, or other stuff. Now, I thought this video was interesting because I saw one story that was a terrible example of parenting, bad parenting as well. And it goes to show you that, yo, when people want money and what they'll do for money, I don't know if it's an addiction thing or what, but they'll wild out and do some crazy stuff. As soon as I saw that one video, that was a couple days ago, I looked and the same thing happened again. And I was like, damn, apparently this is a common trend that was unbeknownst to me. So I decided, we got to go ahead and talk about it and rap about it. And there's going to be a third video we're going to look at. The third video is an oldie but a goodie. I actually never heard of it. I was having a conversation with someone about these bad parenting news articles I've seen, and they showed me a story from 2001 that was really crazy. And when y'all see it, if y'all heard it, I'm gonna be shocked that y'all heard it because I thought this was actually the craziest one. So let's go ahead and cue up the video. All right, we're gonna cue up the video. We're gonna watch the first video. Yeah, actually, before we go into the video, right? Let's just full disclosure. It's some shoplifting going on. It's parents, it's kids involved. It get kind of crazy, right? Now, before we even watch this video, let's just talk about a general topic of when someone is committing a crime and they have a friend or family member there. There's a general rule. If I could tell this story, hey, rest in peace. This is a story of, I think my brother was in 8th or 9th grade and I was in 5th grade. Now, let's just put this into context. There's a big difference between a 5th grader and his physical ability, agility, coordination versus an 8th or 9th grader, right? So I never forget. We was going across this big 3-lane highway, 6-lane highway, 3 lanes of traffic in each direction to go to like the local Kmart or something. Now, my dumb ass just thinking we going in Kmart to get whatever it is we getting, gum, chips, because we ain't had no money. We was broke as hell, right? Unbeknownst to me, my brother was actually going in there to steal some shit, okay? Now, this goes to show you how broke we were because he was stealing shoes from Kmart. He wasn't stealing shoes from Foot Locker, Foot Action, trying to try them on and run out. No, it was like some XJ900s. If y'all never been broke, y'all don't know what XJ9, and y'all that old like me, y'all don't know what XJ900s are. But 5th grade me, 8th and 9th grade brother, a couple of friends. I'm trying to think, was somebody else with us? I think it was actually just us. We walked from the house 15, 20 minutes to this Kmart. My dumb ass in the aisle looking at like basketball cards because I was in the basketball. Unbeknownst to me, he's stealing shoes, right? Now, like I said, the agility and physical attributes of a 5th grader versus a 9th grader, two big different things, right? I'll never forget, we leaving out the store. I got my little stupid cards or gum or whatever the hell it was I had. We leaving out the store walking, and I see my brother, he just started walking fast as hell. And I'm like, yo, slow down. Why you walking so fast? All of a sudden, I see it's like the game Subway Surfers. I see the security guard come out, and he was like, hey, y'all stop. Y'all stop. Now, I'm in 5th grade, and at the time, I had no idea that he was in the shoe aisle stealing or whatever it is he was doing, trying to throw in his bag. I was in the toy aisle just chilling, minding my own business. He came up, was like, come on, let's go. I'm like, okay, well, guess he got what he needed. Security guard tells us to stop. I don't know you stealing, so what do? I stop. What did my brother do? He breaks and hauls ass across 6 fucking lanes of traffic. so he clearly gets away. But my dumb ass, I'm like, it's by the time it hit me what's going on, the security guard already got me by like the shoulder, right? So my brother, in true big brother form, even though he got away, even though he got away and he could have been home free, what did he do? He came back for his little brother. He was like, you know what? I'm I'm not the greatest big brother, but I'm a good big brother. I'm not going to let him get caught up by security when I was the one stealing. He actually came back and had to eat crow and get in trouble because I didn't know what was going on. And it was funny because years later, I can remember having a conversation about it. And I was like, look, dude, I was in the fifth grade. I probably would have got hit by a car crossing that street, but at least you could have did a courtesy. I'm not stupid. At least you could have did me a courtesy and let me know that you was going there to steal. That way I could have preemptively already walked across the street and I could have waited for your ass. But the moral of that story was, hey, he was with a family member in the store doing some shit he had no business, and he felt some sense of accountability to come back and get your boy because your boy was slow and ignorant and had no clue what was going on. So he had to take an L just because I was the stupid guy to get caught and not athletic enough to cross a 6-lane highway without getting hit by a tractor trailer. So keep that story in mind as we dive into this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at video number 1. These videos are 60 times worse than the story I told, though.
We begin with the story you'll only see on Channel 9. It's the season of property crimes, but this one goes above and beyond. Good evening, I'm Rafael Puris.
And I'm Carla Ray. Tonight, deputy.
This is another video. I'm tripping. I got the wrong video. That's a, here you go. That's another video of a lady who her driveway
when officers were on to him, the man left.
Cobb County police are searching for a father wanted for shoplifting. They say that this dad did much more than steal from a store.
Fox 5's Denise Dillon is live in Cobb County. Denise, police say when officers were on to him, the man left his child behind.
Yeah, he did. Police say that while this man was inside Macy's, stuffing hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise in his coat, his son was in the car in this parking lot. And when security was going after him, the man left behind the car and the child.
That's crazy as hell. This dude went into Macy's with his son in the parking lot, and it was a lot of information that they left out that I would like to know about this, but just off the break, that introduction was crazy as hell and terrible.
There was a male who had gone into the Macy's at Cumberland Mall and started shoplifting items.
Police say the man, now identified as James Calvin Smith, stole $852 worth of clothes and perfume, then stole a bag to put them in and tucked it all under his coat as he walked out. Investigators say a loss prevention officer approached him and he pushed her out of the way. The director of security stepped in and things got even more violent.
During that physical struggle, the subject actually bit the loss prevention or the director of security's arm in order to get away.
Police later learned while Smith was inside the mall, his 11-year-old son was in the car in the parking lot. When faced with running away to avoid arrest or going back to check on his son, investigators say Smith ran.
He had left the mall with his child still in the vehicle, so essentially he abandoned the child.
According to a warrant, the child was visibly shaken and stated multiple times he was scared and started to cry.
As a teacher, it just breaks my heart as a mother, as a human being. I mean, why would you leave your child?
We talked to people outside the mall who say they can't understand how a parent could do that.
There's absolutely no excuse for abandoning a child in a car.
Megan Elliott has an 11-year-old. Her heart breaks for the little boy.
Why shoplift anyway? I mean, there are jobs out there for people to be getting. There's help out there. You know, I don't understand why you would shoplift and risk your kid.
There is an active warrant for James Calvin Smith on shoplifting, battery, and cruelty to a child. This all happened in late December. Police still don't know where Smith is. If you have any information, give them a call. Reporting live in Cobb County, Denise Dillon, Fox 5 News.
Just so hard to believe.
All right, so that story is crazy as hell. I agree. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Elise, I appreciate you, sis, tuning in. And literally, I feel terrible for the kid because that's a terrible story. Um, I don't know, like I'm gonna just be honest, like just listen to the facts because I actually tried to look because I'm like, okay, they know who this guy is. He had his vehicle there, his kid was in the car. I'm assuming he probably didn't have a stolen car. They would have said that the vehicle probably was registered in like his name or more realistically, his baby mother, his baby mother or his mother name. No, let's just keep it a buck. And so it was some facts that was missing because I'm shocked, like, yo, why they didn't catch this guy yet? But the fact that they haven't caught this guy, it leads me to believe two things. One, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say this wasn't his first step at being an actual terrible father. Hey, I don't know what the circumstances are. To me, this sounds crackish. Okay, there's a difference between somebody being hard up for money and crackish behavior. This sounds kind of crackish to me. That's the only way that my mind can put it together to make it make sense. If you hard up for cash and you stealing, that's one thing. I've represented people who had kids who caught shoplifting charges and they were in the grocery store actually stealing groceries like good ass T-bone steaks and all of this other stuff. And you know what? I would get those charges dismissed. The prosecutor would be like, damn, the dude said he didn't have no money and he was stealing food. He wasn't stealing. Now, it was a group of people out there who was stealing food. They would go to the store, put a shitload of a shitload of steaks and sirloins in their pants and coats and leave out to sell it exactly behind the store. Who the hell wants some pant steak? But I digress. But this was a situation where a guy was actually stealing food for his family. Even the prosecutor had a heart and was like, man, I can't do nothing with this. Hey, it is what it is. We just going to trespass him from the store. Don't go to that store. Go to another store. It was something that people kind of had a heart for. This, in my opinion, is crackish behavior. This isn't the first instance of crackish behavior that this person probably exhibited. And it says a lot that they just can't find this guy. And this happened in late December. So when I heard this, I was shocked. I was like, man, this is a crazy story. Some people shouldn't have parents. Some people, some people shouldn't have kids. And some kids shouldn't have the parents that they got. You know, hey, no parent is perfect, but damn, this is just sad. So I thought to myself, man, this is a terrible story. But I'm glad that this happens few and far between. That was what I thought until someone that sent me a story from yesterday. One day ago in Philadelphia, let's go ahead and cue this up because, like I said, I thought it was uncommon. Apparently, it's more common than it probably should be. So, first story happened at the end of December. Second story was reported yesterday. Let's take a listen there.
The latest on a baby abandoned at a Walmart in Northeast Philadelphia during a shoplifting attempt. The adults that brought the baby into the store fled the scene, but the pair left the infant behind. Action News reporter Taronda Thomas is live outside the store with more now. Taronda, at least we're finding out the baby's okay.
Yes, thankfully that baby girl is okay. Police, though, are still looking for the people who they say left that baby inside this Walmart while they were shoplifting. It's a situation customers, many of them parents themselves, can't believe.
He is a month.
And Armani Huela can't imagine leaving his newborn son, which is exactly what police say someone did last week, allegedly abandoning a 3-month-old baby after being caught shoplifting at the Philadelphia Mills Walmart.
Why would you leave your kid? That's like part of you. It's more important than like your keys,
It all happened Thursday night at around 11 p.m. Security guards confronted 2 men and a woman for shoplifting. The suspects ran away. That's when security guards found a 3-month-old baby girl who was left behind.
Oh my God, really?
I'm speechless. I can't imagine doing that. It's an instinct, right away. You never leave your baby.
The baby was taken to Jefferson Torresdale Hospital, where she was said to be in good condition. Investigators say the baby is now with her mother as police look for the adults who left her while trying to evade security officers. The case is now in the hands of the Special Victims Unit.
It's a crime. They should be arrested and put in jail. That poor baby.
Parents are among the many customers at the store. Knowing the very aisles where they shop are the same aisles where a baby girl was abandoned, is unbelievable to Brittany Fife, who has a baby daughter of her own.
Oh, I love her more than anything. That's why I can't imagine somebody doing that. It's crazy.
Investigators are doing interviews now. They are expected to issue arrest warrants after that. In the meantime, if you have any information, contact Philadelphia Police. In Northeast Philadelphia, Taronda Thomas, Channel 6 Action News. Sarah?
Yeah, so I'll take it to Taronda. Just unthinkable. So many bad decisions made here, Taronda. Thank you.
Cobb County police are searching for a
All right, so this is sad as hell, and right, they'll pick him, and they'll pick all of these terrible ass adults up eventually. It's just sad as hell that this is something that I thought was a random one-off, because I heard of people leaving their babies in hot ass cars and all sorts of other stupid stuff that people do, but shoplifting with the baby, get caught and leave the baby. This is the first time I'm ever hearing this, and it's sad that it's so common. I thought that first video was a one-off until somebody sent me this video literally yesterday, and I just was like, damn, some people just shouldn't be parents. Of course, they looking at a host of charges. You got shoplifting, you got assault from the push, you got assault from the bite, you got endangering a child. The list just goes on and on. And let's just be honest. Anybody who's willing to do this, the child is probably going to be better off with another family member than somebody who will leave their child like that. They'll leave their newborn in the house while they go out and do whatever the hell it is that they're going to do. But to me, this is extremely crackish behavior. I don't think, like I said, there's a difference from somebody being hard up on cash versus somebody being hard up on cash due to crackish behavior. Hey, I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but unfortunately, I grew up in an era where I've seen a lot of crackish behavior throughout my life, and this is indicative of crackish behavior. So, prayers go out to those kids, and hopefully, whether it's another family member, because I would just keep it a buck. I worked with kids who in the foster system, and that shit sucked too. Like, it's better than probably being with these parents, but it's not a good thing. That was one of the most difficult and rewarding jobs I ever had when I worked with children like that. But definitely prayers to the kids. And so I was having a discussion with someone about these videos and bad parenting, and they took me to an example of bad parenting that I've never heard of, and it was no nexus to a financial struggle or strife. I'm just going to put this as some type of mental cognitive situation that this parent has to deal with. Now, I don't have this one queued up. Let me go ahead and queue it up for y'all real quick, so y'all can see. Let's see. There you go. It popped up immediately because not a lot of people are doing this. Let's see if we can get this video to play. All right, cool. We got this video queued up. I'm not even going to tell y'all. I'm not even going to let me scroll down. I'm gonna scroll down because I want to just play the video. Cancel. I want to play the video and just let y'all see what is going on so y'all can see what the deal is. Now, this is a case from 2001. It's extremely weird and strange. I've never heard of it, but it's crazy as hell. Hold on, give me 1 second. I got the wrong screen up. Look at me. I'm being a rookie here. Let me close that out. See, I didn't have it queued up. My bad. I'm struggle streaming. I'm struggle streaming over here. But let me pull this. All right, there you go. "2001. This is crazy as hell.
A bizarre case of a mother accused of cyberstalking her own daughter. The Michigan woman is now facing felony charges, and Trevor Alt is here with more. Trevor, the motive is still a mystery this morning.
It is, Cecilia. There's no confirmed motive.
A mother accused of cyber stalking her own daughter. What the hell is this? This is one of these topics where it ain't no financial hardship. It could be crackish behavior, but this is just a severe mental health issue for a mother to cyber stalk their own child. And this is from 2021. This is old, but it was so stupid because I never heard of it. I was talking about the other videos we saw. Somebody said, yo, you got to see this. This is the craziest I've ever heard. And I agree. So let's go ahead and play through this whole video before we dive
A bizarre case of a mother accused of cyberstalking her own daughter. The Michigan woman is now facing felony charges, and Trevor Alt is here with more. Trevor, the motive is still a mystery this morning.
It is, Cecilia. There's no confirmed motive, but there are some theories being floated out by prosecutors, including one that's saying this is something like cyber Munchausen's by proxy, where essentially they're making their child feel bad so that the child comes to them for comfort. But whatever the cause, these allegations are extensive and they are incredibly alarming.
Even when we realized that it wasn't a kid, we weren't expecting that it would be a parent.
This morning, a startling story out of Michigan. Prosecutors accusing a mother of catfishing and harassing her own daughter. Authorities allege Kendra Licari secretly sent her daughter and daughter's boyfriend thousands of hateful texts and messages for months.
We had tens of thousands of text messages, and whether they were messages that were just to her daughter or some of her daughter's friends. And the digital footprint was just insane.
According to prosecutors, Licari's daughter first received these messages in early 2021, with Licari and the daughter's boyfriend's parents then reporting it to officials at their school, who later referred the situation to law enforcement. But the messages allegedly continued, and investigators claim this spring they discovered Licari was the source when they traced the messages back to her.
When they informed us later in the spring that they were suspecting that it possibly was her, it shocked all of us. I think everybody involved.
Authorities allege Licari used software to hide the origin of the messages, using several numbers and area codes, even allegedly trying to make it look like her daughter's classmates were behind it all.
In doing so, it would shield her and kind of cloak her identity or her digital identity. But eventually we were able to see that her IP address was popping in and out right before and right after these messages were going through.
Licari is facing 5 charges, including stalking a minor and obstruction of justice. She was released on $5,000 bond. Police documents show when confronted with the evidence, she admitted the messages came from her. She and her attorney said they have no comment at this time.
Now, Licari is facing 4 felony counts, which each carry the possibility of several years in prison. According to investigators, these messages were first reported to the school when Licari was working there as a basketball coach.
Oh, such an alarming story. All right, Trevor, thank you.
Now with a bizarre case of a mother.
That to me is the craziest shit I have ever heard. Like, yo, again, hey, if you're just tuning in, this ain't about finances. This is just about stupid people doing stupid shit that we got to call out. And I mean, the other part of that is, yo, we really got to pray for people in general and these kids. But what kind of sense does that make? You the damn basketball coach. You using WhatsApp or trying to disguise, and you're sending these messages bullying your own daughter. Like at one point, because I was like, man, this is crazy. I went and looked at other articles. She sends these messages to her daughter, bullying her own daughter. Then she goes to the school when her daughter comes to her. She goes to the school and has to talk with the principal like, oh, we can't do this. And the whole time is her. That's crazy as hell. So, of course, that story right there is way wilder than the crazy ass crackers shoplifters. All of them equally terrible, but that one is a severe mental health thing that is just crazy. You know, crackish, one thing. Mental health issue is a complete another. And I took a look because I was like, well, you know, I wanted to see what happened. How did this story play out? Well, it played out exactly as I would have done if I were the prosecutor, or if I was the defense attorney, I would have made them pass this case to somebody else because I wouldn't have did it. But she did have to spend time in custody. She didn't get a just probation and a slap on the wrist. Nah, because the way the court looked at it was this is essentially endangering a child. If you're willing to put a child in a position to be fearful or risking or in fear of imminent harm so they can come to you for comfort, what other jacked up situation are you willing to put your child in so that they can end up leaning on you, even though you created the harm that the child is actually facing? So she actually had to go away. She actually had to do some time behind bars. She did 2 years. Then afterwards, she had probation on the back end. But I mean, the crazy thing is when it's finances, at least a brother know how to end the video or finances. With these videos, it's just one of these things where, we just got to do better. And I know it's probably not us who watching this video, but it's people out there who are in jacked up situations. I was actually having a conversation with my son about another video I saw that I'm not going to go into, but I was having a conversation with my son today just before I jumped on here, where I was telling them like it's children who have conversations with their friends, and their friends are in a household where abuse and all sorts of traumatizing stuff is going on. And I'm explaining that to my son, and he was like, "Oh, at one point he had a friend who was like going through that." And I'm like, "What?" Like me, I'm a square, you know what I mean? I'm a square. So if I hear wrongdoing, my thing is I'm gonna do what squares do. Like, oh, that's something for the authorities to look in, because like people who mess with kids and put kids in jeopardy is the absolute worst in my book. I don't give a damn if it's a parent, grandparent, stranger. If it's another kid, it's the absolute worst. But it's just sad that these things are out here. And unfortunately, I'm in a profession where I've seen the worst of the worst. So I generally don't trust anybody. I mean, we've seen it so many times. Daycare workers recording video of them abusing toddlers and infants who can't even defend themselves. But it really goes crazy. It's really some crazy shit out here. I caught a lot. I know you caught it on the tail end, man, but it was short, but it was some crazy stuff, man. It wasn't really money related. It was more about crackish behavior, mental health, how everybody shouldn't have kids, and how us as parents and as adults, we just got to do what we got to do to make sure that we can protect those kids that are under our watch, that are under our wing, that are under our structures, whether that's your kids, I got kids who are my sons and daughters who aren't my kids because I see them so much. I treat them as such. I go to events with them. I take them to events with my kids. But, we definitely got an obligation to protect people who can't protect themselves, and children and elderly people. Children, elderly people, and people with mental health issues, cognitive disabilities. Those are the three group of people who need to be protected because they don't have someone to really protect them. So we got to make an effort to protect those people. Yeah, crimes against children, cognitive disabled individuals, and vulnerable adults are the absolute worst. Like I just fucking hate those damn crimes, man. It's terrible. I remember once I could tell this story. I remember once I was representing the guy. Yeah, animals too. Yeah, animals too. Yeah, I throw animals in there too. Even though some animals I'm scared of, but yeah, we gotta throw animals in there too. Yeah, definitely. But it was when I was doing defense work, I ain't gonna say the low point in my career for me, but y'all could probably look this up too. I was doing first appearances, right? And everybody who got all these new crimes, and I'm just there representing them for their first appearance. Are you getting the bond? Do you have an attorney? Your court date. Don't say anything about the facts of the case because we aren't arguing the facts of the case. And I remember this one specific day I was doing first appearances, and it was a guy who, let's just say it was I think they call themselves the Black Hebrew, but he had a cult. It was called the Black Hebrews. and this guy was charged with a murder. It was like of a 5-year-old child. He had multiple wives. He allegedly had one of his wives killed the child of another one of his wives because he thought the little boy was a homosexual, right? So I represent him on first appearances. A case like that is just juicy. It's going to be on TV. And I never forget that day, my mother called me and was like, "What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing representing these scumbags?" I was like, "Damn, he just charged with it." My mother was like, "Nah," Mama DFD was like, "Nah, you need to do better than representing these scumbags," right? But I represented guys who've been charged with the worst of the worst. But it was always an issue for me to represent, like, as a defense attorney, people who were charged with like sexual assault, sexual battery, especially if there's a child involved. Like those are just cases I just couldn't do. Unfortunately, where I was at, if it was a case that you were conflicted out of, or it was just something, sometimes you can have a really difficult, unique client, or it was something that, you know what, we got to kick this case outside of the office and give it to somebody else. We were actually fortunate where we could punt those cases off to someone else. So it was one time I did represent a guy who was charged with a sexual assault, twice actually. The first time was when I realized I don't think I like representing guys charged with this shit, whether they did it or not. It just was something that set uncomfortable with me because I don't know, like generally you got to give people the benefit of the doubt as you hear the facts and get the facts. But as I got the facts, I'd be like, it was hard for me. But so this first guy was clearly found guilty. We lost that trial. He was guilty as hell. And that was kind of when I got to the point where I was like, I don't even want to talk about this shit in detail. But I was like, I don't like doing this. But the second case, I represented a father who was married. He had a stepchild. Stepdaughter was, I think, 16. She came in at something like 12, 1 in the morning. She came in at some crazy ass time in the morning. Her and the daughter get into it. A couple days later, the police is called. He's charged with essentially sexually assaulting his stepdaughter. And, so I interviewed the guy. After I interviewed the guy, I was like, just the facts that I have thus far. I haven't even got discovery all the evidence yet. But just in interviewing the guy, I was like, it's something more. It's something going on here. We got to figure it out. So this was the only other like sexual assault case that involved a minor that I took. The first one I had, the guy was found guilty, and that shit made me uncomfortable. This one was a little bit different because the facts were a little bit different. So as the facts came in, it was just some evidence there that didn't substantiate the alleged victim's claim. And when you talk about these instances and there was such in close proximity, you're expecting to see a lot of physical evidence. So we eventually end up going to trial. And on the stand, luckily this young lady was not sharp enough to make her YouTube and social media private. So when I went back and looked at her social media, the date that she came in late and her stepfather started chewing her out and got on her, that date she made posts that were indicative of, hey, I'm going to try to set this guy up. And that was absolute. I mean, both of those cases made me not want to touch those cases because it was just irreparable harm. The first guy, I didn't want to touch the case because he was guilty as hell. The facts showed that he was guilty as hell. He was found guilty. He served his time. He doing his time. That is what it is. I just didn't like dealing with that type of case. The second case, I didn't like dealing with because my client in that instance was actually found innocent. He was found not guilty on the stand during cross-examination when I was, because that's another thing that's a problem. When you have crimes against minors, a lot of times people who are guilty are going to plead guilty, and the prosecutor may give a deal that's a little bit nicer than they probably should give because they don't want to traumatize the child and put them back on the stand to relive that story and relive that moment. But this second situation, the guy was found not guilty. The stepdaughter gets on the stand. During cross-examination, once I hit her with the social media stuff, she just break down, bust out in tears, and admit that the whole thing is fabricated. So my guy's like not guilty. So I think I would go home feeling good, but I went home feeling just as terrible as I did the first time I represented the guy who was actually guilty in the case. And the reason I felt terrible was because this dude lost his job because of the allegation. I don't know what happened to his relationship, but I'm pretty sure that his relationship was over. Because let's just keep it a buck. All right. If you got two people who are married, ladies, if your daughter come to you and say, "Hey, stepdaddy did this," you naturally are going to believe your daughter. That's your blood. You probably going to lean in extra hard, and that's what happened. So this dude lost his job. He lost his relationship. The other kids, his other stepkids who loved him to death, were like, it was just such a traumatic thing, man. So these types of crimes are just always the worst. That was one reason why I myself, as well as my mother, was very happy that I switched sides and got on the good side, so to speak, because she was tired of seeing her son represent scoundrels. But y'all let me know what y'all think about the examples we seen. Which one of these examples we seen in the video were the craziest? Guy leaving his kids in the car to avoid getting caught for shoplifting. Parents leaving their damn newborn, almost little infant baby in the store to avoid getting caught for shoplifting at a Walmart. Or I think the craziest was the mother who was cyberbullying her own daughter for whatever the hell reason she thought, and it was just a shit show. But that's it for this video. I just wanted to give y'all some news that I saw and some just cautionary tales of it's a cold game out here, and we got to protect the vulnerable people and pets, sis, and pets. Y'all take care. If you enjoyed this video, check out the video that's going to pop up on the stream. There's going to be more content where we're talking finances, money, attorney reactions, and current events. Peace.